Hello everyone, my name is Jacob as always, and I am the advocate and head coach for your reigning, defending, undisputed APA champions, the Green Bay Pikachus. I'm also one half of the person that makes up the channel, Jacob and Alex, formerly known as Mr. Nintendo Fanman here on YouTube. It's a channel that we let die many years ago, and we are going to revitalize it. In 2018, it'll be bigger and better than ever before. Mark my word, I don't care if you guys doubt us. It'll happen. We have so much planned for the year of 2018. This was supposed to happen a year ago. It was supposed to happen in 2017, but it never came to fruition. We didn't get a chance and we didn't get around to it. 2018 is the year of Jacob and Alex. He won't be, however, Alex, one of my best friends, will not be doing videos on this channel, or not, sorry, correction, in the Draft League format. He'll be doing these videos on this channel, just not Draft League format. We'll be doing VGC and all that kind of fun stuff. Split Screen will be returning. Animal Crossing, yes, the glorious Animal Crossing will return. We don't know when. We got to get stuff situated. We got to keep things going. We got new things planned too. Things that we haven't done before, things we have done before. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. This video is about the APA, the American Pokemon Association, in which I am the head coach of the reigning, defending, undisputed champions, the Green Bay Pikachus. We won as a replacement coach last year, which you guys will see the APA season, the last few weeks of it. We're going to be doing a montage after this video goes out. I just wanted to explain what's going on. I wanted this video to be the first one on the channel. That's what's going to go on. Also, we have another draft league called the PGBL, and another one that I don't think I'm allowed to name that we're a part of as well. That will happen. You will see those videos come out when they are meant to come out. But I can't state that I'm a part of certain leagues yet, or certain league yet, which you guys will get to see. But anyway, I'm really happy to be defending our championship in the APA. Obviously, this is an upload required league. We're going to be doing this on the old Mr. Nintendo Fanman, now called Jacob and Alex, and it's going to be a glorious, sorry, I'm a WWE fan. I'm a really big WWE fan, actually. I've been a wrestling fan since I was a baby. We have pictures of me watching wrestling on the TV when I was a baby, so that's really cool. And my brother too, so big wrestling fan. And I'm a big Packer fan, hence the name Green Bay Pikachus. So let's get started with this draft analysis of season number 3 of APA Wi-Fi. This is going to be an amazing season. We have a lot of amazing coaches that I'm not going to go over every single person. I have some friends in this league. I have some people I've known that are really good at draft league in this league, and it's going to be a great year. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, we had the 14th pick, I believe, of the first round. There's 16 coaches. We had the 14th pick, so not ideal by any stretch of the imaginations, but I actually either wanted something in the beginning or the end of the first round. I don't like being in the middle. I actually loathe being in the middle of any draft league format. But if you guys are new, you guys don't know what draft league is, before we get started with what we picked, I just want to go over what draft league is. It's basically Pokemon battling, where you it's fantasy football, but you draft your Pokemon. So say I draft Mega Medicham. No one else can have Mega Medicham on their roster. And then week per week, just like fantasy football, you can update your lineup, and depending on what you pick, so you counter team your opponent. So you see a group of Pokemon, your opponent has like 11 Pokemon, for example. You counter team them with your 11. You bring 6, whatever you think their 6 will be, and then you basically counter team them and build teams in trying to defeat your opponent. And then, so fake fantasy championship that you win at the end of the year. It's not like a real, obviously. That'd be really cool. Somebody's got to invent like an actual ring or a trophy. That'd be really cool. Like, you get the American Pokemon Association Championship trophy, and then whoever has it gets to have it until the next year, and then we send it out cross country, international. That'd be really cool. I wish that were a legit thing, but wishful thinking aside, let's get started with the draft analysis officially. So we had the 14th pick, like I stated a little bit ago. a lot of things that were okay. First and foremost, I need to go to the tiers and tell you some of the stuff that we do and don't allow. So things that we do allow, nothing absurdly broken. Pretty much a lot of the banned Pokemon that you see, like Tapu Lele, Magearna, Mega Kangaskhan, they're all banned. Though I think most of them, should be legal. I think Pokemon like Tapu Lele and Mega Kangaskhan especially, I think should be legal. But that's just me. I never have had trouble with it, and I don't think it's as good as everyone thinks it is, especially with the parental bond nerf. So we don't allow anything absurdly broken. Like some of the leagues that I will be discussing and that I'm going to be in are going to allow. Two of the leagues in particular, the PGBL and a league I can't name yet. Oh, there's some busted mons in those leagues. So, and we have one of them in the PGBL, which I will get to a draft analysis after this one. I just want this to be the first video back. So the PGBL will be getting going as soon as this one is going. So tomorrow, January 1st, PGBL draft analysis will be up. And then I'm going to catch up on draft leagues, the videos for it. I'll do week 1 separately, week 2 separately. The APA reunion special thing of last season, I will be uploading that as well. I just wanted this to be the first video launched on the reintroduction of Mr. Nintendo Family into JaCubAsAlways. That way I can kind of explain what's going on instead of just, you know, showing stuff off. But anyway, we got the 14th pick. A lot of things were already taken, like, is there a draft board? Yes, there is a draft board. Nice. I can go straight to it. So, the first overall pick was by Dan, aka A-Drive, and he picked Celesteela. Then it was followed up by, I'm not going to do this every round, by the way, just the first round picks I'm going to go over. Then Kieran Black was picked 2 by Kurt. Kyle A picked Tapu Koko. Silver picked Mega Gallade. Elite Four Dan picked Mega Lopunny. Nate, or Mewtwo fan Nate, picked Mega Altaria. Sleeping Knight, aka another Kyle, picked Necrozma. Crimson Seabad Chase picked Excadrill. Midikist, one of the commissioners, Dan is also commissioner, picked Salamence, which is tier 1, thankfully. I had it tier 2 last year, which was funny. Phantom Base, aka one of my good pals, Tyler, picked Blacephalon. Deathly, who was in 251 stream with A-Drive and Crimson Seabad, picked Tornadus Therian form. General Tar Heel picked Landorus Therian form. Jeremiah Reaper, aka my other good pal Ty, picked Jirachi. And then it got to us. And I'm just like, what is the best Pokemon available right now, in my humble opinion? And that Pokemon was easily Zygarde 50%. Zygarde 50. We're going to get him. And also, student note, I want to state some rules about APA really quick. You get 2 Z eligible users and they cannot use any status moves. Only offensive moves are illegal in this. So as we draft our Z Pokemon, I will be going over the Z Pokemon. Though we didn't have to state our Z Pokemon until the end of the draft, so that's really cool. But anyway, I went with Zygarde 50 for a few reasons. For one, it's really, really bulky. It can fill a few roles for your team. But primarily it is a setup sweeper. So you can set up with Coil or you can set up with Dragon Dance. So depending, or both you could do as well. Because Thousand Arrows is one of the most spammable moves ever created by Pokemon. Nothing is safe except for grass types for the most part. So if they don't really have a good grass type or don't have a grass type whatsoever on their team, best believe I will be spamming Thousand Arrows, and I will probably be sub DD Coil Thousand Arrows because you don't have a good thing to deal with this. So depending on someone's team, will determine whether or not we do that. Obviously, most teams are going to have a grass type, so we're not going to do that set. But for whatever reason, if they don't, or if they have a not a bulky grass type or a grass type that is not resistant to ground, you will get destroyed by Zygarde 50% unless you play in prep really, really well. This thing is an absolute beast. Enough cannot be said for Zygarde 50%. I have used this for a few weeks in just a Showdown League, I believe. Yeah, it was a Showdown League, and I made it all the way to finals on that. That was just a fun league that wasn't upload required or anything, but nonetheless, Zygarde 50% is an amazing Pokemon, and I am going to very much enjoy using this beast. It also has Extreme Speed for a priority, but I can't reveal all my possible strategies that I can use with this thing Because why would I? Just know that it's going to be an integral member of our team, and its nickname is going to be A-Rod. Because we're going to be nicknaming all of our Pokemon after people in my life, my friends, aka or Packer players, past or present, or just things to do with the Packers. So be ready, be prepared. This is going to be a fantastic season. So anyway, that's Zygarde 50%. Next up, we were picking early in the second round. So if you guys don't know how draft works, it's always snake style. So if you pick later in one round, you'll pick earlier in the next. If you pick right in the middle, you always pick like right in the middle. So there's that. But anyway, next up we will be picking third and second round, and instantly, as long as it was still there, which I figured it would be, I wanted to pick this Pokemon always, and that Pokemon is Taboo Bulu, one of the Tabus, one of the guardians of Alola. I just felt the fact that people aren't going to be able to spam Earthquake versus me, I'm going to be able to spam my Ground Stab and Thousand Arrows versus everyone else because it's unaffected by grassy terrain or grassy surge, whatever you want to call it. And Taboo Bulu is a freight train. The literal definition of a freight train, that is Taboo Bulu, because if you don't quad resist it, or if you're not bulky grass type like Shaman or Tangrowth, you will not be taking Grass Stab, especially Wood Hammer or Bloom Doom, very well at all. Oh, by the way, Zygarde is one of our Z Pokemon. I just wanted to state that. And the other one is Taboo Bulu, so our first two picks are Z Crystal Pokemon. Because what is going to want to switch in to a Bloom Doom from a Taboo Bulu? Very, very little Pokemon. It's also a really great utility Pokemon. It's got really, really nice bulk in 115 and 95. 70 HP is not too high, but we can get through that. Like, obviously, Taboo Bulu is just such a bulky Pokemon. It's got decent speed at 75. Even a Calm Mindset could be spooky if used correctly. You never know what I'm going to use with this Taboo Bulu. It's going to be scary. It's going to be a lot of fun. That is all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, Taboo Bulu is going to be crazy. Like, it's going to hit hard. It's going to do what we need it to do. Its nickname is going to, since I always nickname all my fairy types after my beautiful girlfriend Brienne, Taboo Bulu's name is Brienne, even though it doesn't look very feminine or anything, but that's neither here nor there. I don't care. It's anywhere. But yeah, that is our second round pick, Taboo Bulu, so we're not going to be picking for a very long time until the end of round 3. And I was always going with this Mega, and a lot of people had already picked their Megas. I think only like 6 people hadn't, and I knew some of people's Megas already that didn't have their Mega, but I didn't know everybody's, aka Dan, aka Drive, and I was afraid that he was going to pick Mega Manectric, and I was just like, I want Mega Manectric on this team. I want it, so I'm gonna pick it, and I picked that as my round 3 pickup at the end of round 3, and I'm just like, I cannot risk this. I'm not going to risk this at all. So we go ahead, pick Mega Manectric. It's very cool. Basically, with Mega Manectric and Grassy Terrain and Intimidate, a lot of Pokemon are not going to be able to KO Mega Manectric with Earthquake. Unless they're Choice Banded, they're not going to kill this thing, really. I'm looking at you, Crocodile, or I'm looking at you, Hippowdon. Basically, I'm not gonna hard switch it in right into those Pokemon, but I absolutely had to if we were under grassy terrain. Things aren't gonna be hitting this thing as hard as they once would, and I just really wanted to use this thing because I think Mega Manectric can really benefit from a team composition like this, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to use this thing. It's got decent bulk. Not the best, just average at best. It's got a way above average speed and special attack, and it's going to hit very hard on the special attacking side. It doesn't have the most move coverage in the world. Hidden Power of your choice, Flamethrower / Overheat, Electric moves, Signal Beam, and then that's basically it. But it can do a few other things. It can run Toxic if you need to. Like, this thing is basically, you know what it's going to do going into it. But can you stop it is the question. Will you be able to stop it based on the rest of our team? Well, that's for people to prep and to play against me. I'm not going to say if they can or can't, but we're going to bring this thing and we're going to have a lot of fun with Mega Manectric this season. I guarantee it. That's all I'm going to say about that. So Mega Manectric, it's basically what you see. Basically what you see is what you'll get with Mega Manectric. As your Mega, especially under grassy terrain, it's going to be a lot harder to kill, and it gets a nice recovery as well. So that's very cool, if I do say so myself. But next up, we had no hazard setters yet, no hazard removal yet, and I've been wanting to use this Pokemon for a while. I actually got to use it in a fun non-upload like last year. If you guys remember my draft league that I kind of created called the WPA, the World Pokemon Association. I used it a little bit there, but I didn't really use it throughout the season because the league essentially disbanded and disintegrated before it even got started after like 3 or 4 weeks. So that kind of stinks. But we get to bring back Lumbo. Oh, Mega Manectric will be nicknamed my pal, my good friend, my assistant coach Scruffy Fox, aka Mark. So that's really cool. It's not for any particular reason, but I know he likes this Pokemon. So yeah. It's nicknamed Scruffy. Next up, we got Lambo, the Fortress, because Fortress is kind of like a building type. It's not a building, obviously. That's stock attack. But it's kind of like a steel type, and when I think of steel, I think of buildings, kind of. And so its nickname is going to be Lambo, because Lambeau Field is where the Green Bay Packers play in the NFL. And I've been there a lot, and I love going to Lambeau Field. I always try to go to at least one game every year, so Lambo is what Fortress will be named after. Yeah, that made sense. I was just making sure my sentence made sense. And you get all the hazards with Fortress except for Sticky Web. You get Toxic Spike, Stealth Rock, you get Rapid Spin, you get Initiative with Volt Switch, you can get Screened with a Reflect and Light Screen. Actually, yeah, you did get both. That's really cool. You get Gyro Ball, and you can get Drill Run, so it's Earthquake. Obviously, it's Bug Steel, so it doesn't have Stab Earthquake. But if we're facing like an Excadrill and we wanted to hit it, we could click Drill Run on it, which I know it gets Magnet Rice, so I wouldn't necessarily just straight up do. But it also gets a lot of fun techs. Not really techs. It gets some things that we'll be able to abuse. Not really abuse very easily, but it'll be a good defensive Pokemon for us is what I'm trying to state. But I'm looking forward to using this defensive Juggernaut again, and I think Lambo is just a great and fitting name for it. But yeah, that was our round 4 pick, Fortress, aka Lambo. Next up, I knew I wanted one of the Pixies in Azelf, Uxie, or Mesprit, and the more I was designing this team, I didn't get sniped all that much, but there were a few times I got sniped and I wasn't really happy because I really wanted a certain Pokemon with my draft plan, and it didn't go great, but I still liked the team in the end nonetheless. And I wanted one of the Pixies in Mesprit, Azelf, or Uxie, and based on the team structure, based on the speed tiers we needed the fastest one, and that is Azelf, aka #TySucks. I usually name all my psychic types #GramSucks, but we're gonna go things a little bit differently this time around. I think I said that though. Yeah. And Ty is one of my good friends, aka Jeremiah Reaper now, on YouTube. He'll be doing Pokemon and YouTube stuff, so that's really cool. Pokemon and Magic the Gathering stuff, I should say, on YouTube. But the reason I wanted Uxie, because its speed tier would fit in the grand scheme of things in the long haul at 115 with our team, and it can be an offensive Pokemon that we really needed some special attack besides Mega Manectric right now, and Azelf fit that bill perfectly. I haven't gotten to use this Pokemon in Draft League before. I've used Uxie and I've used Mesprit before, but I've never used Azelf, and I really wanted to give it a go. It's really fast, and it can prevent hazard removal by just clicking Explosion, so that's really cool. So we can set up Stealth Rocks via Focus Sash and then click Explosion next turn, especially as long as I don't click Defog or Rapid Spin on our initial Rapid Spin, or on our initial Rocks, I should say. That'll be really great. But it also can be a nasty plot sweeper, and it can be good utility with U-turn, knockoff. Just it gets a lot of coverage. It gets like Ice Punch as coverage. It gets Fire Blast, Fire Punch. It gets so much coverage. This thing's insane how much coverage it gets. So I'm really looking forward to using this very versatile Pokemon in my disposal. And you're welcome, Ty, aka Jeremiah, for nicknaming it after you. So there's that. Next up, we are into round 6 now, and I wanted a spin blocker as well. And there wasn't a lot of Pokemon that I was necessarily liking as a spin blocker, except for this one Pokemon I found in Tier 3, being the Water Ghost type Jellicent, and we're going to name it Clinton Dix after haha Clinton Dix, because Ghost, oh, scary, haha, so I named it Clinton Dix after the Green Bay Packers strong safety or free safety, who got snubbed out of the Pro Bowl this year, by the way, because, I don't know, he should. Just because our defense sucked doesn't mean everyone on our defense was bad, but anyway. I really am going to, I think I'm going to enjoy using Jellicent. It's a very bulky Pokemon that can be physically defensive or specially defensive depending on the matchup. It can also be offensive. 85 special attack isn't the best, but it's passable for sure. It's not setup fodder because it can get things like Nightshade. And also, if we need to go Trick Room, we can also go Trick Room on this thing and run like Brave Banded Bulu if we really needed to, which I probably wouldn't do, but we can go offensive Jellicent. If need be, it gets nice, reliable recovery and recover. The only issue with it, it is very susceptible to being pursuit trapped, which you need to run Colberberry a lot if the opposing team has a good pursuit trapper that has stab. If it's like not stab pursuit, I'm not as worried, but it still could be potentially scary at the same time. But yeah, Jellicent should be a pretty good, reliable defender, and it pairs up pretty well with Fortress. The thing is, this thing's weak to being like Dark, Grass, Electric. Oh, that and Bulu, it pairs up well with Bulu as well. So I think the only thing that Bulu is weak to, that Jellicent can't resist, is flying. And I think the only thing that Bulu is weak to, or that Jellicent is weak to, that Bulu can't resist, is Ghost. I believe that's it, but we're kind of having a Ghost weakness, but we'll patch that up later down the line. But for now, just know that Jellicent will be really great here, and I'm really gonna I'm looking forward to using this, especially defensive mostly, but just defensive Pokemon in general. We're gonna get more offense down the line. We already have quite a bit of offense, but we'll get more offense down the line. Don't you worry. Next up, we are going to go to round 7. Where I could afford another Tier 1 Pokemon, and based on the rest of my draft, I really wanted to go another Tier 1 Pokemon, but there weren't the best available still, so I was thinking just like, well, what am I gonna get? I wanted the Rock type. I needed more hazards, that's for sure. Only Azelf and Fortress could do that on my team right now, so I was like, I need more hazards, and I get 2 hazards in one Pokemon in Tier 1, and that Pokemon is the Ultra Beast known as Nihilego, aka its nickname is going to be, I think it's Claymaker is the nickname I'm going to give it. Let me just double check really quick. I think that's the nickname I'm going to give it. Don't quote me, I don't remember, but I believe it's going to, because I give most rock types / ground types of my team the nickname Claymaker. So there is that. Claymaker, the Nihilego, aka Clay Matthews, will be our rock poison type of Tier 1 in the APA this season. This thing gives me a lot of special bulk and special offensive prowess, and a speed tier that I really wanted in 103 because we are at 95. I'm trying to balance out the speed tiers of our team right now. And Nihilego will help out a lot because we go from 135 Manectric, 115 Azelf, so there's a pretty big gap between those. But other than that, there's not a huge gap between anything else on our team. We go 115 to 103 Nihilego, and then 103 to 95 in Zygarde 50. So the speed tier is going to work out pretty well. Obviously, it's only special attacking, but that's okay. We have some mixed attackers already in Azelf and Zygarde to a degree. Not really Zygarde so much as Azelf, but Azelf will be our really good special attacker or mixed attacker that we have on our team. But yeah, it gets Stealth Rock and Toxic Spice, 2 things I really, really wanted in the Pokemon. And obviously, it's still going to die to an Earthquake unless we're Shuka Berry. Even through grassy terrain, because this thing's quad weak to it and has the defensive prowess of a Weedle, essentially. Okay, a little bit better than that, but still pretty bad. It also gets some nice niches now that tutor moves are available in Ultra Sun and Moon and Knockoff. So that's really cool. It also gets some other moves from tutor moves that I'm not going to state all the moves it gets. People can look those up if they really want to, but this thing could be a Suicide Lead with just a Focus Dash and set up screens like Light Screen and Reflect. That'd be really cool. But it can be an offensive Pokemon as well. I'm kind of sad that it didn't get Earth Power from Move Tutor, because that would have been really cool to get that for things like Heatran in Draft League format, but that's neither here nor there. That's okay. Not too big of a deal that we didn't get Earth Power from the Heligo, but this game, I know I've been stating this entire time that I'm going to be enjoying using these Pokemon, but some of these Pokemon I haven't gotten an opportunity to use in Draft League format, so I am very excited. I'm excited to use Nihilego. I'm excited to use Azelf. I'm excited to use Bulu and Jellicent and everything else. I haven't used Mega Manectric. I'm excited to use that thing too, but Fortress and Zygarde are the only Pokemon, except for one of the other Pokemon I'm going to be getting in a couple picks, that I haven't used. So pretty much this entire team I haven't used yet. So it'll be really cool. But obviously I've been in like probably 11 or 12 draft leagues at this point at this juncture. So I've gotten to use a lot of Pokemon, but there are still many Pokemon that I have not gotten a chance to use that I'm looking forward to drafting in the future, which we'll get to. But anyway, that is Nihilego, so that's really cool. Next up, we are going to go to our round 8 pick. And I was going to draft originally Tornadus Incarnate from Tier 3 because Prankster Defog, and I wanted a base 111 Pokemon. And I really just wanted to do that. But sadly, Tornadus I got picked the pick before me. So if I would have just reversed the rows and picked Tornadus I first, and then pick Nihilego, I would have gotten both Pokemon. I would have been able to pick some different Pokemon later down the line, but I didn't, and that's okay. Things happen for a reason. And then I realized this Pokemon's still available, and it hits not as hard as Bulu does in grassy terrain, but it hits just as hard out of grassy terrain as Bulu can, and it has more coverage moves, I think, than Bulu, and that Pokemon is more reckless than I am driving. I'm just kidding, I'm not that reckless driving. It is the firefighting type Emboar, aka, I believe I am nicknaming this Detron after my friend Dalton because he likes to work out a lot. So this Emboar will be named Detron after my good friend in real life. Actually, I should say Dalton. And this thing, this thing hits hard. I mean really hard. This thing gets Adamant, Choice Banded, Flea Blitz, and will nuke a bus. I am not kidding. You also gets Head Smash, Wild Charge. This thing's going to be really fun to use. Flame Charge to set up with speed. Sadly, it doesn't get rocks like Infernape does. Why does this not get rocks, but Infernape can? I don't understand how some firefighting types can. I want to understand Pokemon logic. Like, it's Pokemon, it's GameFreak. I'm not going to understand it entirely, but Emboar will hit like a nuke. It also has some niche strategies that you can use. Besides that, this thing can be a defensive Pokemon too. 65 defenses are a little bit below average, but if you add in its base 110 HP, it can be defensive. Firefighting is not the worst type under the sun. Yes, it does not resist Fairy, it's neutral, but can take on Fairy types, depending on the Fairy type. It can take on Dark types, and Steel types, and Ice types, Weavile, and Bisharp. So that's really cool that it can take on those Pokemon. But Emboar is going to be an integral part of the team. Will we bring in every single week? No, we will not. But it will have its matchups, and it'll destroy things when we need it to destroy things. I am positive it will, just like I was positive in 2010 the Packers would win the Super Bowl. Not like I've said that like 4 of the last 7 years or anything. Nope, never said that. I have, but that's besides the point. Packers would have done a lot better this year if Aaron Rodgers didn't get hurt, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to get salty about that. But anyway, that was our round 8 pickup, Emboar. Next up, we're on to round 9. And I wanted a Wish Passer on this team because I thought it would be important for something like Zygarde, who does not have reliable recovery, and Emboar in case Emboar gets worn down. As well as, that's about it. And Bulu, I guess, too. But Bulu has reliable recovery to a degree with Grassy Terrain and Hornleech. But I still wanted a Wish Passer. I wanted a Cleric. I got that fat pink piece of crap blob that licks things. Licky The reason I wanted this over things like Aromatisse, which I couldn't afford because it was tier 4, my last 3 picks all had to be out of tier 5 because that's how the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and the way things work out, and the way we drafted. So I don't mind tier 5 Pokemon. There are some absolute steals in there that we didn't pick up, but Licky is something that I absolutely wanted. I've used this thing a couple times already, and it's just done so very well for me in the past. It is not passive. It is even Alamomola. Things like Alamomola are more passive than it, but if you a lot of things can't be passive if you don't let them be passive. If you're more aggressive, if you have a so-called passive Pokemon on our team, play more aggressive so you don't get set up on. Alamomola and Licky, things like that are not for everyone. Not everyone will be able to use them well. But the better you get at Pokemon and the better you get at draft format, pretty much anything's game to use. I'm not afraid to draft anything anymore. I used to be afraid of things like Licky and Alamomola and Blissey and Chansey because I wasn't as well versed in draft format as I am now. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm not nowhere near the best. I'm just improving, and that's all I want to do is improve day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second. I should have done that in reverse, but you guys get the gist nonetheless. And I really, really like Licky. This thing's a lowered. Despite of what my assistant coach, Mark, aka Scruffy Fox, might think, this thing is really good. And it can get curse and set up with curse and things like that. And hell, I might go belly drum on it because I'm an absolute madman. You never know with me. I'm a very unpredictable builder. Most weeks I go towards balanced, but sometimes I might whip out hyper offense and you might not expect it. Sometimes I might go stall, which I think stall is not a very good playstyle in today's draft league format. And like Gen 7, Gen 6 it was more viable, but Gen 7 I don't really think so for the most part. But maybe semi-style for the most part, or semi-style could work. But for the most part, balanced or hyper offense I think is the way to go most weeks. And that's what I'll probably end up doing more so than not. I can't really be stall just does not work as well with all the offensive presence and Z moves. No, it's really not going to work very well. Maybe on the Smogon ladder, but this isn't. This is draft league format. And Licky, I think, is the best, one of the best wish passers, along with Umbreon and Vaporeon and Alamomola in draft league format. I think those 4, and Jirachi I can't forget about. Those 5, I think, are some of the best wish passers in the entire draft league format. And Licky is one of my favorites. This thing can do a lot for your team. It gets so much coverage moves because it is a normal type. I really wish this thing got Stealth Rock. If this thing got Stealth Rock, I think it would be complete. Like, this thing would be the complete package if it got Stealth Rock. But it's a Cleric, it's a Wish Passer. It gets so much coverage moves. Dragon Tail is really nice for preventing setup. Obviously, against a Fairy type like Clefable or something, you'd have to think better. Obviously, I'd be not just staying in with Licky versus Clefable ever, because I would never want it to set up. So unless I need to patch a wish or something like that. But then again, Licky gets Swords Dance. But then again, that's a terrible example because Clefable gets Unaware. But if you know it's like Magikarp or something like that, like it's a Cosmic Power set, you can set up Swords Dance before it sets up Cosmic Power and beats you. You'll beat it before it beats you because you'll be able to be +6 by the time it's +3. So he'll be able to nuke it with a return. So that'd be really cool. Panther, just because you have Clefable does not mean I'm running Swords Dance Clefable versus you. Or sorry, Swords Dance Licky versus you. That was just an example, my friend. But anyway, that's Licky for you. That was our round 9 pickup. Now onward to round 10. I needed one more Stealth Rock user. We only have 3 hazard setters. I needed at least one more. Some Pokemon I was thinking about in this spot were actually Pokemon like Rhydon, Claydol, but I actually went with a Alolan Dugtrio, surprisingly, weirdly enough. Some people have Sand on their team. I know Crimson Seabad Chase drafted Mega Tyranitar. I think normal Tyranitar may have gone undrafted. Let me check that really quick so I'm not talking on my behind. Yeah, normal Tyranitar actually went undrafted, as did Hippowdon, which Hippowdon should have because it was tier 1. I don't think Hippowdon's worth a tier 1 in my opinion. It should have been tier 2, just like something like Conk Elder as well, I think should have been tier 2. But that's just me. The tiers weren't perfect, but obviously no one's perfect, so nothing's perfect. Except for the 1972 Miami Dolphins, who won 17-0. Who we actually have the head coach of the Miami Dolphins and Kyle A, the commissioner of the P4G in our league, so that's really cool. We have a lot of great people in our league, and this season is going to be amazing. So, Alone Doug Trio does that. It also gives me Steel Stab. Obviously, Fortress gets Steel Stab, but this is more of an offensive Steel Stab and faster offensive Steel Stab than what Fortress gave me. So I wanted this, and another Steel type's never a bad thing. More resistances to Fairy is never a bad thing. Fortress is quad weak to Fire, so HP Fire is going to be brought on some certain Pokemon, and I didn't necessarily want to do that to myself. So, Low and Doug Trio made the team, and that's basically what I really wanted it for. Also, it gets basically a gooey-like ability entangling here, so that could be kind of clutch late game, depending on what team matchup brings and what the other Pokemon my opponents have on their team as well. But it's kind of cool. Sadly, it does not get Ground Stab, I believe. That isn't affected by grassy terrain, so yeah, it gets Bulldoze, Earthquake, and Magnitude, which I all think are affected by that, so we have to be very careful with this thing's Ground Stab. That's all I'm going to say, but obviously we could forego Ground Stab if we really needed to. So there's that. It does, sorry, correction, it gets Sand Tomb, which is physical. I lied. But it gets Stomp and Tantrum too, so I also lied again. But whatever, that's besides the point. Doug Trio should be kind of cool to be used on this team, kind of like its hair. No, sorry, this thing's name is Claymaker, because it's got the hair like Clay Matthews. Sorry, Nihiligo, you're going to have to find a different nickname, because the Alolan Doug Trio has Clay Matthews' hair. So it's Clay Matthews. That's all I'm saying, guys. Besides the point, I think Nihiligo will be named something else. I'll figure its nickname out later. But anyway, onto the final pick, round 11. You know how I was talking about toning this eye earlier with Prankster Defog? Because it gets it via Move Tutor now in Ultra Sun and Moon? Well, I found an okay alternative. It's not necessarily the best thing in the world, but I think we'll make it work. And we only had one hazard removal to our name so far, and that was Fortress. So we need another hazard removal. And I actually picked up Prankster Murkrow because that is another Prankster Defog user I will be able to use this season. It also gets Prankster Tailwind, so we can use that if we need to. It gets Prankster Perish Song. It gets Prankster anything. We just have to be careful so we don't try to use those on Dark types, which why would we? We shouldn't have to ever. But Prankster is a very decent ability, by far one of the better draft league abilities in my humble opinion. But Murkrow isn't passive at all. It is very frail, even with the Eviolite. But that's okay. We'll manage to make this thing work. It has a lot of coverage moves. Dark Pulse, Heat Wave. I don't think it gets Brave Bird, but it doesn't get Hurricane, sadly. That would have been too good to be true. But it also just gets nice things that we'll be able to take advantage of. Sucker Punch is always nice too to have, even with its nerf in Gen 7 to 70 power. But that's okay. Murkrow should be a very good team player for us, I think. Oh, something to note. Prankster Mirror Move is going to be cool if I ever pull that crap off. That's all I'm saying. Prankster Mirror Move. I don't think I'll ever bring it, but that's still kind of funny. You never know when you'll need it. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, fans of the APA and Green Bay Pikachu fans alike, my name is JaCubAsAlways, and this has been our draft analysis for APA Draft League Season number 3, Wi-Fi I should say. Our team, to recap, we have Zygarde 50% and Taboo Bulu being our Z eligible users, offensive Z moves only. Then we have Mega Manectric, Fortress, Azelf, Jellicent, Nihiligo, Emboar, Licky, Alolan Doug Trio, and Prankster Murkrow. So, thanks for watching, everyone. My name is JaCubAsAlways. Have a great day. I love you all so very much, and adios, everyone. Bye-bye.